Yes.
Kiddo.
Drunk.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to our podcast, Cinamoria. Today, it's me, Alex, the deceased friend who came back from the dead realm. I'm with my besties, of course, Moka and V. Today, we chose a very intimate topic that we all relate to because we're friends, obviously. Each and every one of us had a movie to watch, and we're gonna discuss it separately. So thank you for being here. Buckle up for this journey.
So, what are the titles of our movies?
Well, mine is Stand By Me.
Mine is The Best of Enemies.
And mine is the Banshees of Inisherin.
So, we're gonna start with Moka's movie. Tell us about it.
So, hello everyone. This is Moka as always. Today I picked a very interesting movie that you guys need to watch because it's very unusual. As I said, the title is The Banshees of Inisherin. The movie revolves around two guys, Colum and Patrick. Colum is like in his late 50s or something. Patrick is pretty young. And one day, Colum said to Patrick, I don't want to be your friend anymore. So how is that gonna go? Why? What's going on, right? They had like a lifelong friendship. How is Patrick gonna take this decision? And why did he say that to him in the first place? The film in general tackles the theme of isolation and despair. Yeah. Like in the cinematography, we saw that there was lots of scenes where they pictured the coast of this imaginary island. It actually doesn't exist. In the middle of the Civil War, like in the 1920s of Ireland. And so they pictured the scenes where the island is pretty isolated. And that reflects on the actual people that live on the island, politically and emotionally. Patrick is isolated from Colin now, and Colin is isolated from Patrick. It is directed by Martin McDonough. And this motherfucker, he actually wrote the script of this movie in under 2 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, the movie is a wow. And he wrote it under 2 weeks. So there's this central conflict, as I said. It's about isolation and inexplicable end of a lifelong friendship between Colin and Patrick. They tackle the themes of isolation and despair. And, you know, the characters' isolation from each other emotionally reflects the actual isolation of the island from the world in the middle of that civil war that I mentioned before. And there's this redemptive struggle that the film revolves around. Patrick is questioning, what did I do to Colin to cut me off just like that? And Colin is trying to find a meaning into life, and he dives into art. He want to live a symbol, he want to live a print in the world. And so we see the contradiction of which is more important, your actual relationships with other people, or you leaving a symbol, regardless of you losing your best friend.
It's like a villain and hero type shit. Like,
That's the thing. You can't actually tell who's the protagonist or who's the antagonist. Can you blame Colin for wanting to pursue a career in violin, music, and live a print? And also, can you blame Patrick for losing his lifelong friend? It's pretty hard on him as well, you know? In the dialogue, Martin is pretty known of using dark comedy. And I enjoyed it a lot with the Irish accent and the way they talk. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a snippet of the dialogue. There's a scene where Patrick said, I don't like you no more, to his friend Colin. And he said, you're not the man you were, Patrick. Colin was like so crazy about it. And Patrick said, I'm still the same man, just a bit more worried. That's all. You know? He's worried that Patrick is meaningless in life. What do you have more than me as your friend? You know?
That hits.
Yeah, it hits. And like it was a wake-up call for him to realize that there is more to life. Although it's hard love, but wake up, you know? As for the cinematography, as I said, visuals of isolation, how the island is isolated from the normal world, the muted colors, they were not so much lively, red popping colors. No, it was very muted. It was very cold. We're in the middle of the Civil War. Everything is just chaotic, but boring, you know? Yeah, very blue. For the acting, oh my God, it was pretty nice. Yeah. I loved Patrick. I couldn't pick which one is best because they both delivered a top-notch performance. Yeah.
What about the other characters?
Yeah.
Did anyone stick out?
The movie as a whole, he has like limited characters, not that much. So what you like can notice in it is just Patrick, Colin, and his sister, Patrick's sister, and her as well. She delivers a nice performance, although she didn't stand out much. But everything was notable. Like you can see her, you can remember her, you can know that she has an actual role in the story. My favorite part, the symbolism in this movie is cray. I loved it. Yeah. So Patrick has this little donkey he loves. Her name is Jenny. Not to spoil or anything, but the donkey had an important role in the movie as well. Right. The donkey in general symbolizes innocence. And so we can follow up within the journey of this donkey. Is the innocent going to be lost? Is it not? Is this end of the friendships going to make Patrick, heart-wrenched, bad, lifeless, or is it going to do him good? And how does the donkey serve this purpose? The Banshees. Oh my God. I love when death is represented in movies.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, death as a character. Not just as a symbol or something that you talk about. So the Banshees, which isn't the title of the movie, it's a legend that they have in Ireland that there's this spirit that foretells death. Okay. And the name of it is the Banshees. And so we recognize this woman that appears every now and then wearing all black. That woman is death. Yes, and she is the Banshee. Yeah, that's right.
That bitch.
We
What's up for real?
We saw the symbology also of loss, as I said, and art. The contradiction. What would you do? Would you lose your friend? Or would you lose your purpose of life? Yeah. Would you lose yourself forsaking that friend? Hands and fingers. Another symbological thing. Yeah. Not to spoil.
Not to spoil.
But the hands and fingers are very representing this movie. Column's self-mutilation served a purpose. Why did he mutilate his fucking fingers? Why would one do that? It shows that the extent you would go to in order to pursue your purpose. The sacrifice, to make sense out of life as in a whole.
It's a friendship test. When I ask you to do something, would you abide by it to see me thrive? Would you actually
respect
take
my
yourself
boundaries
out of my life, respect my boundaries? Does he respect his dreams? Does he want him to get there? Would he help him to reach his desires?
It's all so hard. Like, imagine I'm Moka, your lifelong friend.
Yeah.
And just one day I'm like, I don't want to be your friend, Alex, because you're just dull.
I mean, it would hit hard.
It would.
It would be so painful to me. I wouldn't, abide by it directly. But when you start mutilating yourself, girl.
So yeah, like there's no protagonist, there's no antagonist. All the characters has their own time to shine up. Everything is represented. It's very dull, the movie. It's not a ha.
Very slow paced.
Yeah, very slow paced. Dark humor.
It makes you ponder.
But it makes you ponder, as you said. It makes you reflect. Am I spending way too much time focusing on my emotional relationships with other people? Or should I invest that time within finding my own purpose in life? Which one's which? So there is a contradictory between Colin and Patrick themselves represent these themes.
I think Colin, the guy who mutilates himself, is kind of outgrew Patrick.
He
outgrew him in all aspects of friendship. Like, he became so boring that they don't share any common points except like having a beer and just sitting doing nothing, talking about people, stuff like that. So us, if we ever outgrow one another, that means one of us is gonna cut the other one away.
Or cut your fingers.
or cut your fingers. Oh no.
So that's it. That's the film that I guys request you to watch.
Now moving on to Alex's
All right.
theme of movie.
Well, it's Stand By Me. It's a movie inspired by a novella of Stephen King, The Body. And the title has changed, so it wouldn't be focused on the body itself because it still remains in the movie, and rather shifts the focus on the friendship and the friend group. We can say that it's slightly a biopic genre, since one of the characters actually depicts Stephen King in his childhood, which is the main character, Gordy LaChance.
LaChance. I heard her.
Gordy LaChance is the smarty pants, is the little shy guy, you know, the one that stays in the group, the one who makes a decision, the one with the brain. We have Chris. Chris is the tough guy, the muscle one, the one with them arms.
My type for real.
Yeah, for real, your type. River Phoenix, motherfuckers.
Oh my god, it's real.
It's River Phoenix.
Wow.
That guy is the shit. Oh my god, his acting. He was fucking 13 years old and started improvising.
Oh, wow.
On the spot.
Let's go, baby.
Motherfucker was like, let me do my shit. Let me show you what acting is. And then we have...
Damn, rest in peace.
Yeah, oh my god, he died. Teddy Duchamp or Teddy Duchamp.
Girl.
Teddy Duchamp. He's the traumatized guy.
Oh my days, bro.
The one who got abused and used. And never been amused.
To my type for real.
I mean, can we all relate to it?
Yeah.
It's the spice in life. It's a canon event. Teddy tries to mask his trauma by being the goofy guy, by playing around, by fucking around. He's a little bit physical because he has been physically abused by his father. Towards who? Towards Vern. Vern Tassilo. He's the dumbass. He is the dumb. You know, you try to like him, but he's way too dumb to be liked. But when they plan to go, okay, let me tell you the story. Let me give you it starts with a person parking, staring at a hill. Logically, it's Gordy when he's old, and he starts storytelling us the whole thing. It's a summer day.
So is it like a flashback? Kind
Yeah,
of.
It's
Oh,
more,
okay.
yeah, it's kind of a flashback type shit. Where Gordy starts telling us about this particular day, where he and his friends were on a tree house that they have all together, and then Vern comes quick. What's up, guys? I think that I know a spot where a body is. A guy of our age is somewhere in the hills and the mountains, dead, decaying the fuck out of himself. Bro is decomposing in the thin air. They're still kids.
No, white people.
White people should be strict.
No. White people are dumb.
They are dumb, but like they should be
I
overprotective.
apologize for every white person listening
No,
to
they're
this.
colonizer. We will never forget what you did to us.
Period.
For real. I mean, Arabs too, but who cares?
Oh my days.
Where were we? Yeah, they all agree to go. And blonde.
Her.
It's enough.
It's enough.
Ew. Cancelled.
Yeah, gingers
And blondes.
Gingers and blondes, like
No, smash gingers.
No.
Nah, I like gingers. Saoirse Ronan, smash.
Smash.
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse
Whoa,
Ronan.
whoa.
But if we go back to the kids that I was talking about, they were the shit, man. The dialogue that they used was very hostile, very foul. They would cuss and smoke.
Us for real.
Smokers.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. They only needed beer or something to become like those white dad stereotypes type shit. Man, they do smoke. They fucking cuss. They use fucked up language within each other. I mean, you know, when it's a male friendship,
Yeah.
it's pretty much accepted. But like when you realize again that they're almost 13, going to 14, it's her Taylor head.
You that bitch.
Taylor's head. You want to give Taylor Swift head?
Yes.
Ew.
No, I I want her head chopped off, like Taylor's head.
Listen. Also, if you're a Swiftie, just get the fuck out, please. Like, I can't.
If you're a Drake fan, motherfucker, just leave. I know we're talking about minors, and you probably beating the shit out of it. Get the fuck out of here, man. The fuck? Man, I'm so jumping from a subject to another, so inconsistent.
Yes, you guys will get used to it.
What was our older brother, Denny, who recently passed away. Denny, when there's a moment of flashback, we see him depicted as the best brother ever. You can sense that Gordy has faced a really big loss in his life. He's always been the shadowed kid. Even when Denny was alive, he was, that's your shit, girl. Organic movie. I never seen an organic movie like this one.
What about you, B?
Va va vie.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make it, short and simple. So my movie is called The Best of Enemies.
No.
Don't judge me guys, أنا نشم والله أنا نشم. يا أخوان أنا نشم منكم. Anyways, 3, 2, 1. My movie is called The Best of Enemies. It was released on 2019, based on a true story.
Yeah.
Now, since our theme is about friendship, this one is kind of like very dramatic, very contradicting kind of friendship, filled with triggers on the aspect of what the human morals, more like, related to racism.
So it has different nuances to it.
Exactly, but focusing on how beliefs, personal beliefs, and racism shaped this kind of unfamiliar or unusual kind of friendship. Did you watch the movie?
No.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Buckle up.
Give me a
So
teaser.
it's a true story, like I said, between civil rights activists. She's my favorite, and Atwater, the sassiest of them all. If you guys watch the movie, or at least watch the trailer, you're gonna see her depicting the African American kind of woman. Very sassy, very dominating.
Ooh.
Yeah,
speaks her
she's
mind.
more like, don't fuck with my boundaries.
All right.
And I love that for her. With the former leader or president of KKK. I know, right?
Shit is taken.
Exactly. She's a civil rights activist, and he's literally the president of the KKK.
Extremists.
Exactly. And it took, it was in 1917
Okay.
in USA, North Carolina. Anyways, the movie or the film explores themes of racial tension, personal transformation, my favorite part, and power of dialogue. Where the cinematography emphasizes the contrast between the characters' worlds through the lenses or the use of light and color. It has warm tone to it, but there's also this cold.
For tension, the warm tones didn't depict tension, anger.
It did.
It
did, and it also depicted the 1970s kind of atmosphere.
Old
style. It was that vibe, oldie, but also filled with tension. It's warm, but it's also cold. You can see, using these visuals, you can see the depicting the 1970s kind of, tension between the white people and the black people. And, like I said, civil rights activist. Civil rights activist. She was like, don't fuck with my black people, bitch.
That's right.
She
the
stood
fuck?
her ground.
Whereas, CP and his clan are like, no, we're gonna fucking shit on you guys.
Yeah.
Because, you're black, It's slow-paced in the beginning. But you can see that there is always this interaction between CP and Water. There was always this interaction, either direct interaction or indirect one. Now, there was this specific scene that kind of started shifting the beliefs of CP, but he was resisting. And that's what I liked, the actor. CP kind of didn't like the idea that his beliefs are being challenged. He didn't want to accept the idea oh yeah, I'm just gonna not become racist anymore. No, he was pretty much, it's more like religious trauma type shit. Just let
so
go.
He felt like he was losing himself?
He felt like he was being challenged in a way that he didn't want to be challenged in, because he fit in to the KKK community. He fit into being racist.
So he didn't want to put himself in the new endeavor.
Exactly. It was very discomforting for him, and you can see that. Literally, you can see that in the acting.
He's insecure. He's very intimidated by the idea of giving black people their rights.
No, it's not even about giving the black people their rights. He just did not like the idea that a woman. Also, the movie talks about
Misogyny.
Yeah, misogyny and patriarchy is gonna be a little bit there, but it's not direct. But you can see it. CP didn't like the idea that his beliefs that he spent his whole life being challenged by a African American woman. African American woman. All right?
That's right.
So he kept kind of resisting her over and over again. And it's something that we do when we are put in a position where we want to get out of our comfort zone. We unconsciously kind of resist the idea.
So it was
We're scared.
An innate conflict. It was an
inner kind of conflict. Like, yeah, don't fuck with my ideology, bro. I don't like this. But N-Water kept doing that. She was like, hey.
Okay.
She was the one who's always engaged in conversation with him. And you can see that throughout the movie. She's always the one who just comes up to him and like, CP, with her attitude. Like, CP, like, what are we gonna do? There was supposed to be a meeting between the KKK community and the black people. Why? The black people, or let's say African Americans, primary school got burnt. Probably by one of the KKK members. So the African American kids, they didn't have anywhere to go. So Atwater was like, all right, we're gonna make a conference and I'm gonna defend your rights because African American people deserve knowledge, deserve education. Yeah. And the KKKs were resisting that kind of idea. What do you mean you're gonna mix black people with white people? Our kids are gonna be influenced, and they took it in such a hard way. But Atwater did not fucking give up. She was like, you guys are gonna provide education for our kids.
I know that's right.
I know that's right, girl.
You go, Ann. You go.
Oh, and Atwater. I advise you guys to go and check the trailer. At least see her sassiness. I fucking love it. She doesn't stop being sassy. Yeah, my type for real.
So it's like Atwater is the epiphany for CP.
You can say she is the canon event kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's a woman.
And he wasn't self-indulgent enough.
I mean, he was self-indulgent.
At the beginning, I mean, he grew up.
Yeah, you can see the kind of,
rules.
the character development, you can see it a little bit after the middle of the movie because, like I said, it's slow-paced, but it's worth it. The atmosphere,
I mean, it speaks about racism, it speaks about patriarchy, misogynistic, and like in that time before, how was it going?
Yeah.
The leaders are fighting over something, over a great cause. What's gonna happen?
Exactly, like the KKKs were just kind of hostile for no reason. They just hated African Americans, and you can see in the movie there was no direct reason why to hate black people. Like the movie was so smartly done that like CP had absolutely no reason to hate on Atwater. She was civilized, she spoke her truth, she stood her boundaries, she never crossed anybody else's boundaries, same as all the black, people community there. Yeah. You can see in the movie they did nothing wrong, and the KKKs are just, going with the crowd and just hating.
So it was truthful to the black community, didn't depict them as the villains.
No, there was no, you can see the stereotype of, African American being, thieves and gangsters and stuff like that, but actually in the movie, no. Most of them just wanted to, pursue education, to fight for their rights and stuff like that. Yeah. And then there's my favorite part, the interaction between CP and Atwater. CP has children. He has 2, and one of them he has Down syndrome and is submitted to a mental kind of institution or care house kind of thing. One day, the nurses kind of entered a disabled kid in the same room of CP's kid who has Down syndrome. So he had a panic attack. He started freaking out. I don't want this guy here. I don't want this guy here. And he had a tantrum. He threw it. So CP was, no, get my kid his own fucking room. And he tried to provide that kind of setting for his kid, but he couldn't. Atwater heard what happened in the hospital. So she went to the nurse and she was like, hey, can you do me a favor?
Girl.
And the nurse, she's African American as well.
That's right.
Atwater, everybody knows her. And she's hated so much by the KKKs, but deeply loved by African Americans. So she just went casually without thinking anything of it. She was not like, I'm going to do this favor so they can, make our kids study with the white people. Yeah, it was not put that way at all. She was like, out of her pure of heart. She just went there, can you do me a favor? can you just, provide the CP kid his own room? And then CP heard that Atwater was the one who kind of, interfered.
Yeah.
He was very resistant. He did not accept that favor with a good heart. He was like, well, I heard what he did. He didn't have to do it. She was like, I didn't do it,
For you.
for you
I did
or
it
anything
for the
like
kid.
that.
Yeah.
She did it literally for the kid.
So he didn't
And
wanna
for the
feel-
purity of her heart.
Yeah.
From that action, you can see CP is like sometimes leaning towards, hesitating. Should I? She's nice. Like she did something good, but also resisting, reminding himself like, no, I'm the president of KKK. I should stick to my role and do this and that.
White man.
Yeah, so the series of the movie goes like that. We can see other scenes involving other characters being under the influence of racism. Pressure and psychological kind of manipulation on the white people to not, be friends or allies with African Americans in that community. Yeah, so the conferences go on. Atwater is fighting for the rights. She has a little bit of temper. She has attitude, and I love that for her. And it goes on, I think, for weekly. It was kind of a weekly kind of conference. Over and over again. Give them the rights. Give them the rights. The juries kept declining. No, we do not accept, the integration of white people with black people. Until CP started to kind of lean towards
And
his personal transformation. Also, they had many conversations. Direct, indirect. There was this scene that I like. She went to him, it was after the conference, she went to him, and they feared that the KKKs might, hurt black people and stuff like that. CP was also worried that black people might, enter in a defense of Atwater, and the conference folks defending the black people's right might attack CP. So there was this interaction that happened. CP was, opening his trunk, and just, Atwater was running to him. She was like, oh yeah, where are you gonna defend yourself with? And he just kind of pulled the shotgun, and he was like, with this.
Yeah.
And he was like, what about you? She just pulled the Bible. She was like, I have this. And then she was like, CP, have you read the Bible? He was like, yeah, many times, then I can count. She was like, then you must know that the guy that created you, God, that God that created you, created me. And she just fled the scene. Atwater was like that. She always did, like in every interaction she has with CP, she throws kind of like a indirect, it's not shade, indirect.
She teaches him indirect lessons for him to realize that he was just,
Exactly,
growing
like
up over
unconsciously
stereotypical
conditioning him.
Okay.
Like the God that created you created me. Of course, CP is gonna ignore it at that time, but in his unconscious, he's analyzing all of that. It makes sense. So you can see the personal transformation, the inner transformation CP is having. And then there was this final conference. It was my favorite. Oh my God, I cried, by the way.
Me too. Y'all, I just heard about it and I was like fucking emotional. So like, wait till you watch it.
Oh my God, when you watch it, it's a whole other level. I cried during this scene specifically. But it was because he accepted to challenge his own beliefs. So it was more like
Give
a
and
me
take.
thing and a you thing
Yeah.
in the community. Which is
karma.
kind of, the whole concept of what community should be.
Yeah.
Atwater and CP, they remained to be friends for over 30 to 40 years long. There was like live interviews with them together. They attempted every single conference, speaking their relationship. How did it involve? How did he let go of his racism? How did he
Advocating
discard? Yeah.
I like how Anne wasn't very hostile towards CP because it would have been understandable if she hated the guts out of him in the first times. I mean, he only meant to do bad for her own people.
Yeah, but Atwater has attitude. She's not. She can come off as rude, but she's not. She's a woman who speaks her truth.
Yeah.
And that's something seen as rude because of the influence of patriarchy. Like a woman should be silent, she shouldn't talk, she should, tone it down. But Atwater was always there, and
mean,
people
she
saw her as rude.
Yeah, she showed how women calmly, composedly get the job done without displaying any form of hostility or violence. This is what somehow it shed the light on women's power over men. The way that we're more aware that a word would do the job more than an action, more than a gunshot, more than a punch.
Exactly. Atwater dealt with it with doing this indirect kind of favors, you know, for her own sake. That's just her personality. She's not doing it to gain anything.
For God's sake, she's a woman of God. I like how religion is portrayed here. Like, we all read the Bible, but I read it thoroughly. I know what's behind those words, and the God that created you created me.
Yeah, that was such a powerful statement.
Yeah. I fuck with it. And mind you guys, this is a real story.
Yeah.
A real fucking story, man.
It's a real story.
It's very emotional. And if this is not like the mere advocation of friendship, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Friendship should be like the series of you triggering me triggering you, but in a good way.
But I got your back, and you got my back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you can trigger me, challenge me.
With the themes that we had the ones who cut each other off, the ones who grew apart, and the ones who lifted each other.
Yeah, your themes were more like, you know, friendship that was built on just having fun.
Not really.
And being ridiculous, like the Banshee of the Banshees.
Yeah.
They were friends.
It was a child.
It wasn't the big... أصبرك تفهمكم.
No. I think you guys misunderstood my point.
Like, ridiculous.
You guys misunderstood my point because
Not ridiculous.
the story
as
that I'm
in
mentioning,
Yeah.
they didn't start off as friends.
Yeah.
They started as enemies, and then
Yeah.
it built
Yeah.
to a friendship based on the obstacles and the challenges they had. Both of you's, you know, themes were already like kind of friends,
Yeah, they
and then
already
they kind of
established
grew
to be,
out
yeah.
of
Yeah,
one
in the
another.
beginning.
So that was my point.
Yeah.
You just started defending your
That's
top,
what I
but like,
did.
hold on, don't talk shit.
right here, right now.
Well, we reached the end of our podcast. Cinamoria.
We've been kicked out of our biblioteca.
Yeah, we were kicked out mid doing the podcast. We were told, "Oh, you guys do not belong in this library."
Yeah. Artists, fucking difficulties and obstacles in life.
The sacrifices we have to make for this podcast are worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed our rambling about the movies. We do hope you consider watching the movies because
And give
life
us
changing.
constructive insights of what you want, of what you look for. And
Yes.
constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And leave a comment.
Leave a comment, you stupid.
Show us love, but also recommend movies that you want us to, you know, review
Yeah,
and
recommend
analyze.
themes you want us to tackle. What themes y'all are interested in, romance, comedy, whatever you want. And that's it.
And we will take it into consideration and we will review the movies in our upcoming podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was V.
This was Alex.
And this was Moka.
And have a good day.
Bye.
CP was, you know, opening his trunk. Sorry. It's nicotine. All right.
لا protagonist تخلط.
معليش. تخلط يا عمري.
The lead guy.
Alex is the pedophile of the group, everybody.
Yes. Pedo. That's literally what pedophiles say.
What's من بغش الدراري خاوتي.
Hey, no.
Directed by Mert.
It is directed by Marion.
Break. I'm gonna lose my clip for you.
No, that might.